Alright, what's going on, guys? Episode 11 of the Berserk Memorial Edition. Let's get right into it. Now, before we actually start the episode itself, I just want to say, due to the Berserk announcement that came out earlier today, we now know that there's only going to be 13 episodes for the Memorial Edition. So, I was speculating that there might be a 14th episode, they might continue on, they might add extra material, but it doesn't seem like there's going to be a significant amount of material coming our way in the future. So, I would guess 95% of these last two episodes is just going to be, stuff we already saw from the Golden Age films, and that's about it. But I will say this, there was about 50 seconds of new material in episode 11, so that was pretty badass. So we'll get to that when we get to that, but let's get going. Now, Casca is changing Griffith's bandages, but when she starts to cry, Griffith gets on top of her. And even though she wants him to get off, she soon realizes how frail he is, and merely allows him to continue doing what he's doing. We then transition to the new material. Now we see Rickert in town and he goes to a shopkeeper. And the reason that he's there is twofold: to get some salve and to secure an escape route for the Band of the Hawk. Now the shopkeeper says that he secured a route through Rickart Mountains. He does offer a warning, however, that strange monsters are showing up around the border. Now I will say that not only is this new material for the anime, this never showed up in the manga, so this is completely original. And I gotta say, it's actually a really nice addition. I really enjoyed this. This is really cool. It's kind of cool to see what Rickert was doing while the Band of the Hawk was getting caught up in the eclipse. So I felt like this was a good addition. I liked it. It was only about 50 seconds. It didn't last long, but still, I'll take what they'll give us. And then for the rest of the episode, we're back on track, like always. No other deviations besides this one. Casca is then seen in emotional distress. Guts goes in to check on her, and she says that she can't go with him because she can't leave Griffith's side, since he's so frail and all. Guts wants to stay too, but Casca reminds him that if he wants to be Griffith's equal, he's gotta go. Of course, when Griffith hears this, it rocks him to his very core. Griffith then has a vision of his childlike self running off to the kingdom. And while he's doing this, he's saying, "We're not done playing yet." And in a desperate attempt to attain the kingdom, Griffith chases the childlike version of himself until the horse-drawn carriage hits a rock in the road and flings him off. He then goes flying through the air until he comes crashing down into the water. Realizing how pointless it all is, he starts laughing in a maniacal fashion. He then sees a sharp stick in the water, and realizing that life is all in vain at this point, he prepares to commit suicide. But ultimately, he can't do it, leaving him to wallow in the water alone. We then notice that the moon is blocking the sun, causing a solar eclipse. And as this is occurring, Guts and the Band of the Hawk make their way to Griffith. And when Guts touches Griffith's shoulder, it activates the Bailet, transforming the entire environment around them into a hellish landscape. We then see a bunch of apostles calling for the 4 guardian angels. So anyway, they're calling for the 4 guardian angels, and then to start things off, we got a gigantic naked woman rising up. Her name is Slan, and she spreads her wings in a glorious yet terrifying fashion. Ubik comes down next, terrifying everyone in sight, followed by the loud and annoying Conrad. And I gotta say, it's been a while since I watched these movies, so I forgot how loud and annoying Conrad was in this scene. Like, I didn't remember that part whatsoever, so that was kind of a cool refresher for me. And then to round things out, we've got the preeminent archangel himself, the man with the exposed brain, Void. It is then explained that the Band of the Hawk will be sacrificed so that Griffith can transcend his humanity. And the person that will make this decision is Griffith himself. Now, the Band of the Hawk is very scared and quizzical about the whole proceedings, but before they can react, Griffith is then taken up to the altar as Guts hangs onto his hand. Unfortunately, given Griffith's physical injuries, he drops Guts as he is set before the 4 members of the God Hand. Now, before we actually end this episode itself, if you'll notice in the picture right here in the movies, Void is on the middle finger and Slan is on the thumb. But in the manga, it's reversed. Void is on the thumb and Slan is on the middle finger. Which makes a lot more sense because the middle finger in America means F you. So you would think that would be the perfect finger for Slan. And given that the thumb is sort of the most important finger of them all, that would be the spot for Void. But for some reason in the movies, they have Void on the middle finger. I'm not sure why they did that. I mean, it really doesn't affect the ending whatsoever. But again, it's like, why go out of your way to change it? Why not just leave it the same? So, who knows? Tell me what you guys thought of this episode. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.